What's up, you kooks? I am your host, Martin Lopez. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to take the most basic set of tools you might have laying around and teach you how to build these bars. So, quick little fill-in. I used to work for a motorcycle company for a couple of years, and I learned some skills that I wish I would have had before I even started working for them. I am gonna take those skills and teach you or anyone out there with the most average basic tools set up in their garage and be able to create something amazing out of it. Or I wouldn't even say amazing, mediocre or great at best, that you created, that you feel proud of building, and it's all gonna be motorcycle related. I am in no way, shape, or form a professional. I don't consider myself to be one, so take my information with a grain of salt, and please always be safe and have fun. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can take an angle grinder, cutoff wheel, a speed square, 1-inch outer diameter tubing, not pipe, a welder, which is behind you and I don't feel like grabbing, vice grip clamps, an angle finder, deburring tool, and most importantly, some safety equipment. These bars.
Ultimately, the bar height ended up being 4 inches tall, but I went ahead and gave myself extra room for error as I needed the added material to be allowed to clamp the workpiece onto the bench prior to cutting. You want to take the speed square and line up the square end of the tool with the flat straight edge of the tubing to draw a line down to your cut mark with the 45-degree angled edge on the square. Now take your cutting wheel and cut along the 45-degree cut line you made leading up to your measured mark. Now you're going to want to follow the same steps you just did for the base, but in this case you're going to want to do a 9-inch base is what I did, and you're going to cut a 45-degree angle on one side and then you're going to flip it and cut a 45-degree on the other side, leading to both points measuring to be 9 inches in length. That way you have a 9-inch base. You don't want anything less than about, I believe it's like 6.5 to 7 inches. And now you should have a base, your handlebar part, and the length of it. Now go ahead and take your deburring tool and start deburring all the edges inside the tubing where you've made all the cuts. Technically, and people are going to hate me for even saying this, but you don't necessarily have to do this considering you're not running anything through the tubing. So I mean, but the cleaner it is, the better weld you're going to get, and it's just a more easier, better practice. So now you can take your flap wheel on your cutting wheel and clamp it down to your table, and you can actually grind down all those cuts and get a really smooth welding surface. I went ahead and used this little Harbor Freight thing. It sucks, but it works. I think I paid like 14 bucks for it. This isn't a review channel, so who cares? Use what you got. Now you're going to take your handlebar part of the bars and the length part and weld them at a 90-degree angle. I have these little magnetic angles tools that I picked up at Harbor Freight for fairly cheap. I think I used the 20% off coupon, so I ended up paying a whole lot less than what they're advertised. And you know, welding the bars is probably going to be the hardest thing out of everything that we've done so far. So if you have no skill in welding, find somebody that does, because you're going to want these to be welded on pretty sturdy. And if you don't have anyone, then, you know, do some research on welding and try to do it as best as you possibly can, because the last thing you want is for those things to break apart midway through your ride or whatever the case might be. So yeah, I have a pulse setting on my welder. That's why it's doing this blinking light. I'm not doing it by my foot. Some people can do it with their foot. Others have a pulse setting. Whenever you see people post the videos of them like laying stacks of dimes on their welds, more often than not, they're using a pulse setting, and they're probably lying to you about how freaking good they are about it. I'm not one of those people. I will tell you right now, my welding skills are okay. They're mediocre. I can get away with doing what I do, but for me to say that I'm an extremely good professional welder, it would be a complete lie. Anyhow, on to the next part. So you're going to want to take your angle finder, and right here I measured it out to be 4 inches tall is what the height of the bars ended up being. You're going to want to take your angle finder and angle your bar up at 25 degrees, and then you're going to want to angle it down at 25 degrees, and you want to angle it up facing you, and you want to angle it down facing you at the same time, because if you angle it up facing you and then you angle it down facing the opposite way away from you, you're going to get two completely different cuts and it won't work, and then you're just going to be mad at yourself for wasting all that material later. For the sake of the time on the video, I'm going to go ahead and make these cuts on my chop saw. If you have a chop saw, by all means use it. It'll save you a ton of time. If you don't, if you can find someone that has one, then ask them to let you borrow it. If not, then using your cutting wheel is just fine as well. Now go ahead and clean up your cut parts one more time. Make sure you deburr the inside. And here I'm using all my magnetic angle finders, or my magnetic angles, to set up my bars. What I did here was I set up my bars where I wanted them to go, and then you're going to set at least 4 to 5 inches height on each side. I measure it from the bottom. Some people measure it from the top of the bar, but I measure it from the bottom up to 4 inches on each side. That'll give you your pullback. And then you're going to go ahead and just tack weld each piece. I don't fully weld it all the way because that'll just kind of want to lift. It'll want to make the other end that's against the table lift. So what I do is I tack weld one end first. I flip it over. You know what I'm doing here is I'm tapping on it, making sure that it's pretty flat, and then I clamp my workpiece down, or my bars down, and then I'm going to go ahead and tack weld the other ends on as well. Then I'm going to check the bars, make sure everything's good. Once I see that everything's good, I can come in, finish up my project. That's pretty much that.
So thanks for watching, you guys. I really hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope you guys can take what I've been able to show you and make something cool on your own. I built about 6 bars in the making of this video, so I have these bars available. I'm only gonna ship them out raw. I'm not a production company. I don't build bars for a living, so I'm not gonna go and get them chromed or powder coated. Unless you guys love them and you want me to powder coat them, I will figure that out for you. Just let me know when you go and order. I don't know what to say anymore. If you guys like what you saw, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And if you think you have a friend that can benefit from this video, hit the share button. Vroom, vroom, vroom. I also sell these t-shirts on my website. If you guys want to help support this channel, I have these online for $25 with free shipping. So if you guys want to help me keep making these videos, feel free to pick one up. And again, you guys, like I said before, I'm not an expert. Please be careful with everything that you do. I'm not telling you to go and fuck your bike up. That's the last thing that I want. So take everything that I've done here with a grain of salt And please be careful. If you don't feel like you have the necessary skill set to do any of this, just avoid doing it and enjoy the video. If you know that you can do this and you feel confident, then by all means do it. That's the whole point of this video, is to get people to not have to go and spend $600 on something they can do in their own garage with tools they have laying around with $40 cost on their material pricing. I have some more videos coming up. The next video, I'm going to show you guys how to take $5 bars you probably found at a swap meet and turn them into something cool that you would normally find online for $200 plus. I am also going to teach you guys how to make leather products. I'm going to teach you guys how to make stuff like air filters for your bikes. I'm going to teach you how to make seat pans, all kinds of cool stuff. I might even get into how to weld certain things. I'm not a welding expert, so that's not necessarily my field to tell people how to do things, but it might help. And I'm also not a review channel. You know, a lot of my tools are Harbor Freight tools because I'm a working man. I have bills to pay. I can't afford the highest quality stuff, but this is not a review channel. But I will say, if you don't have these things laying around, you can pick them up at Harbor Freight for fairly cheap. And I've had this machine here for well over a year now, and it works great. My little brother actually picked it up a long time ago, and it's done him wonders, and I've pretty much stolen it from him, and it's worked good for me. So thanks for watching. Go fuck yourselves.